Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about how sometimes we can be our own best friend yet our own worst enemy. How we can potentially be our own best advisor but we often become our worst advisor. And a lot of this is to do with our intuition, our instincts, our gut instinct, whatever you want to call it. Most people have experienced it in their lives where they just knew something but they didn't know what they knew until after the event, when it all comes out in daylight, and then you think, I knew it but I just did not know it at the time. And often we didn't know it at the time because we didn't have the facts and the evidence in front of us to prove that what we knew. So this video is going to be a bit about trusting within ourselves, our own instincts and our own advice. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact with them, and different methods to find what works for you personally to help you overcome narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. Now, when it comes to our instincts, we often just have a feeling or a hunch about something, and it's usually something that's going to have a negative impact on our lives or on the lives of those around them. We can have an emotional instinct on somebody we love, somebody we care for, that empathy, when you just feel an urge to pick up the phone and ring a friend and check that everything's okay. We can worry about other people. We can also worry about overreacting, just thinking, oh, stop overacting, everything is fine with that person. More often than not, though, it's best just to give them a call and make sure that everything's okay. When it comes to our own instincts, because it's usually something that we don't want to be true, and while we haven't got the facts and evidence, it's then not true, because it's something that we might perceive as to be painful, because it's something that might change the course of our life, which is going to cause a lot of pain and heartache and work. We can often bury these instincts. We can often avoid these instincts. We can often do all we can to skirt around the issue so we don't have to deal with the issue. And when it comes to a narcissistic person, our instincts more often than not are usually spot on. Most of us can look back at a time within our lives when we can think, I just knew it, yet because you didn't know it, you pushed it to one side, or because you couldn't work out what it actually was, you pushed it to one side. It's only after the event, when you get the facts and evidence, that you can then think, I did know. If only I'd have listened to those instincts. But because you didn't know, you didn't listen to those instincts. And now's the time to reflect on things, situations like that, when your instincts are telling you something, to pay attention to them, to understand them, to see what they're telling you and not bury them down. Now, when it comes to a narcissistic person, you're going to know something and you might go and speak to them about it because you don't have the evidence, and they're going to accuse you of misunderstanding them, and then they're going to find some form of logical reasoning to get you to doubt yourself. When what we need to do when that instinct speaks up is we need to think, oh, that doesn't seem quite right. I'll go and speak to this person. And then we need to go and speak to that person. And when what they're saying back to us doesn't sound quite right, to avoid pain, we don't believe what they say. We face what they say head on and we think, this isn't sounding quite right. This isn't making me feel good. There's something not quite right here. And people can do this, and people can then start looking, people can then start digging for answers, which is when a narcissist is going to turn around and accuse you of having trust issues, which is more than possible that you're going to have trust issues around untrustworthy people. And this is when we have to listen to what they are actually admitting to us in a twisted way. They're not going to admit that they're an untrustworthy person. However, they are going to tell us that we've got trust issues because we have trust issues around untrustworthy people. And this is when we need to distance ourselves away from that person. Yes, people can have trust issues and we can rationalise that people can have trust issues. However, somebody who cares for you, someone who cares about you, just like when you care for another person, you would not want to make that person feel worse. You wouldn't want to make that person feel more confused. You'd want to try and help them out, which is often why within a narcissistic relationship, we end up losing who we are as a person. Because the narcissist is a very untrustworthy person, they don't trust those around them. Therefore, they make you feel bad for going out with your friends and family. They get you messaging them to reassure them that you're not doing anything wrong, because you're not doing anything wrong, because you don't want them to feel bad, not realizing that they're manipulating you to isolate you from your friends and family so that they have control over you, because they fear things such as abandonment. So if they have control over your life, if they have control over how you're thinking through your emotions and through your instincts, they have control over you. When it comes to our instincts, we have to stop asking other people more than once. It's okay to ask somebody once when something doesn't quite feel right, because genuine people, when you ask them, you would come away with some form of answer. Either, this relationship isn't really for me, or right, yes, I understand their point of view now, they understand my point of view, yes, we can compromise on this, we can work through this, we can discuss this, we can talk to each other. Or you're going to feel like you can't approach that person because they make you feel worse. You can't approach that person because you come away feeling confused. You come away feeling like you're the one that's going crazy. You might react to them, so you come away feeling like you're the one in the wrong. And when people bring out the worst in you, they are not the people for you. We can all differ in opinions. With most genuine people, when it comes to opinions, they can recognize their own, recognize other people's, and respect other people's. When it comes to a narcissist, they recognize their own, and you shall agree with them, or they will find a way to humiliate you, to shame you, to blame you, to punish you, to criticize you, to judge you, to smear your name, to do all they can to make you feel bad for having a different opinion to them. So as we can understand that people have different opinions, what we need to understand is that we cannot change anyone else's opinion. If somebody is willing to see something from our point of view, great. If someone is willing to see something from our point of view and stick to their own valid opinion, great. If someone is willing to see it from our point of view, validate our feelings, respect our opinion, and stick to their own, perfect. As long as we can do the same. We're not here to change anyone's opinions. We're here to validate our own opinion and respect other people's. Those who can't respect ours, we don't need to be around those kinds of people, which is a narcissist. A narcissist cannot respect anyone else's opinion. They're going to come at you and say, oh, I knew you'd take their side. Oh, I knew you wouldn't believe me. you usually don't believe them because they're lying to you. You're not taking their side because you see that they're in the wrong and the other person you believe is in the right. But you respect that that's how they feel, so you don't want to make them feel bad. Again, when you're feeling uneasy around somebody, even if you don't know what that unease is telling you, that unease is telling you to distance yourself from that person. If you can't feel comfortable around a person, you no longer want to be around them. And it's the same with advice. We often go to other people with advice of, well, what could I do about this? What could I do about that? I need help with this. I need help with that. And yes, it's great to get opinions from people who've lived similar experience. It's great to get advice from others because they can come up with an idea that we have never thought about. However, just because someone else's advice or opinion doesn't match our own doesn't make them wrong. It means that worked for them. It might not work for you. You have to find what works for you as an individual. Sometimes what we have to do when we're trying to find an answer to something and we feel like we just cannot find the answer, we're feeling stuck in the situation, sometimes we usually have to step out of the situation and think of someone we really care about coming to ask us for the answer. And then what advice would we give that person? Then we have to take on board our own advice. And this isn't the easy bit. We have to take on board our own advice and we have to act on it. It's very easy to tell somebody else what they should be doing with their lives. Yet it becomes very difficult to tell ourselves what we should be doing within our own lives, because sometimes life gets hard, sometimes life gets painful, sometimes we don't have the answers straight away, sometimes we fear by doing the right thing we will be doing the wrong thing by somebody, that we might hurt another person's feelings. With good intentions, there's no wrong way or right way to live your life, there's only your way. When it comes to our instincts, the more we run from them, the worse life seems to get for us, the more painful it becomes for us. The sooner we take ownership of those instincts and act on them, the easier and the better life becomes for us. We have to become our own best friend and our own best advisor before we take the thoughts, feelings, and opinions on board of other people. We can take them on board. We don't have to agree with them. We can agree to disagree, reach a compromise, respect them for who they are. But people who don't respect you for who you are not the kinds of people you want to be around. Not everybody is going to get everything. There's that much in the world that people need to understand about different cultures, different religions, different belief systems, that as you've not lived that lifestyle, if you've not lived in that area, if you've not been raised in that way, we don't always get it, truly get it. We don't always truly understand it. We can put our own twist on it. And sometimes people don't want to hear our twist. People don't want to hear our opinion. People just want to be validated for what they've been through. Doesn't mean you have to agree or disagree with people. We have to listen to our own intuition. We have to listen to our own opinion. We have to validate our own thoughts and feelings. We have to recognise that as new information comes along, we can change our values, we can change our beliefs, we can change our thoughts, we can change our opinions. We can see something from one way, and then new information comes along and we can think, actually, I was wrong, and do something else. For example, the amount of people that will say their narcissistic ex was an amazing parent because they can be an amazing parent when they've got their admiration face on, because you care about them, because you don't want to slander their name. You can go all out to praise them to people. And then as they reveal their true colours to you, you can start to think, oh, I think I might have got that a bit wrong there. There's nothing wrong with that. That happens. We make mistakes. Mistakes are just our first attempt in learning. When new data comes along, when new information comes along, we are allowed to change our minds. We are allowed to change our opinion. We are allowed to change the way we look at something. When it comes to instincts, look at a time in your past when you ignored them, downplayed them, went against them, got validation from someone else, which was what you wanted to hear, but not the truth. So it kept you trapped in a situation you shouldn't be in. And recognise that at that time, you didn't know what your instincts were or what they were telling you. Now you have that information. You can start to use that information in your life as a daily practice to help you through. And we don't have to go around telling other people they're wrong just because they don't agree with us. There is many people raising awareness about narcissism, and people come along and say, well, that's not quite right. And in that person's point of view, it's not. That's their life. It doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make them right. New information comes along. You're not going to win. You're not going to please everybody. A perfect example of this is people are on social media raising awareness about narcissism. And there are those who possibly at some point thought they might have been a narcissist, but don't think they are a narcissist, or have been told they're not, that go on to try and help people. And people are going to come at them and tell them that they are. That's that person's opinion. If that's what that person thinks, then good for them. What they do with that is up to them. Your opinion is your opinion. Then there are people who will come on social media claiming they are a diagnosed narcissist, and people will come along and tell them that they're not a diagnosed narcissist, because you wouldn't be behaving like this, and you wouldn't be doing that, and you wouldn't be doing the other. But that's their opinion. Doesn't affect who that diagnosed narcissist is, same as it doesn't affect that person who is a non-narcissistic person. People are entitled to their opinions. We have to learn to not take other people's opinions on board as our own if they are not true to who we are as a person. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please add those into the comments. I shall link the video on limiting beliefs into the description, because a lot about life is our own individual thought process. And another example of this is, if you want to feel miserable, it's very easy to slump your shoulders, put your head down, think about negative thoughts, start feeling depressed, start thinking of all the bad things that could potentially go wrong, and curl up and start feeling sad and depressed and want to cry about life. It's not as easy, although it is as possible, to sit up straight, put your shoulders back, put an outfit on that you feel comfortable in, talk to yourself in a positive way, get yourself motivated, get yourself moving, listening to some motivational music or motivational videos, listening to something inspirational, thinking about where you'd like to be next year at this time, what you can do in that day, creating routines, creating patterns of behaviour. It's not as easy, but it's possible, and it gives you that mindset. It's the thoughts within your mind that you're creating to give you the best shot at life, because life is painful. We just have to grow through those times. We might not want to go through them, but they're going to hit us. We have to grow through them and recognise that we've found the coping mechanisms in the past to survive. We will find them again in the present to create a better future. Thank you for listening. Go out there, create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.